begin? This is like the most wobbliest stage I've been in. I shouldn't move around so much. I really feel like it's going to fall apart. You guys ready? Close the door. Should we begin? Wait, we got one more guy, another guy. Yep, you guys in the back are waiting for you. That's right. These people are going to be sitting here after 6 o'clock because of you. Oh, another guy here. Appreciate you showing up. I'm a jackass. Yep. Sit down anywhere, dude. Waiting for you. You with the coffee. Yep. You in the backpack. Yeah. Hi. Nice to meet you. All right, good. So how you hackers doing today? It's nearing the end of the day. Aside from myself, how many here, by a show of hands, have at some time in their life, for whatever reason, been called a hacker? Come on, raise it high, nice and high. Keep it up for a second. I didn't say put it high. Keep it up. Put it down if you've never done anything illegal. Okay, NSA, there's your watch list. So, this is my name. This is who I work for. This is who you should not confuse me with. I've had somebody come up to me and say, I heard you died. You look pretty good for dead. What the fuck? This is my, since I'm famous, this is my entourage. They couldn't make it because they have a very, very busy nap schedule. And if you look there at the picture, as one of my former coworkers said, guess which kid do you think is having the most fun? The big one on the far right, of course. And then we can't forget the little hacker baby. Aside from trying to take your bases, what do you think this cute but slightly demented looking baby is thinking? Just yell it out. Food. Yeah, I want something. No, it's not that. He's thinking, buy my daddy's book. Shameless book. My entourage and I, a couple years ago, put together a book because, as you can tell, they're young and they're asking a lot of questions about computers and want to understand things. There really wasn't anything in the library, there wasn't anything in the stores at that particular age level of my son when he was 5. So we put together a book. They're in the book, there's pictures, it's pretty contemporary, and it really teaches them about input and output. And if you're interested, I will have some copies available for sale out there in the hallway. So I started my career here at this place. It's a borough in New York City, not to be confused with a Mexican horse. No offense, Mexico, I know you're watching. I thought I was going to become one of these, and then I said, no, I don't want to become this data entry report generating machine, so I went and got one of these. Remember that? A few of you do, some of you too young. Then I got the upgrade exam. Then I said, enough of that, and I heard of this company, CompTIA. You guys heard of them, right? Yeah, so I got a couple of those suckers, and then studied really hard, and took a harder exam, and it required a lot of time, and I think you know what it is. Yeah, but no, it's a good exam, and but I gotta tell you, I really owe all my success and the ability to focus and get through those exams to this. Any other addicts in the room? Come on, there you go. The NSA is not looking for you to drink coffee. Change the audio. I drink about a pot and a half a day. Anyone else? Yeah, that's probably why I have sleep apnea. So I used to got ahead of myself. This is what I like to do for fun, just to kind of separate myself from technology periodically. So I do amateur breaking in forums. I used to write for Dark Reading, and I started this InfoSec underground in the Chicago area. So if you happen to be in Chicago on the 4th Thursday of any given month, except for yesterday, was it DerbyCon? Meet up at Union Station at 6 o'clock and we'll have some fun. It was kind of like this, but a lot fewer people. Now, in case you haven't figured out, this is where I live, and if you're not good with landmarks, this is Chicago. This is where I'm originally from. I hope you can figure that one out. But I have to say, in no way, shape, or form am I a fan of them. beans out. That's bad. No offense, all you Yankee fans, but now's the time to stop the video if you're watching this online. So let's talk about why you came here. You came here to talk about some malware. I happen to bring some with me. There's one of them. Where's the button? Who knows if that'll work. So there they are, you can watch them. And a particular kind of malware, it's a Trojan. So that means if you're worried about your Wi-Fi being on and you had to turn it off because that's what you read in the description, that's okay. I appreciate your precaution. You are at a hacker conference, but a Trojan is not a worm. But the Trojan we're going to talk about is called Zeus. Zeus was actually a pretty successful command and control. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. It's very well known for stealing banking information, credit card information, and scraping web forms, which if the demo works, you guys get to see that. But probably, if not hundreds of thousands of devices, millions of devices have been infected with Zeus. The author of Zeus retired some time ago and released the source code. So what does that do? People go out there, the criminals grab the code, and then they write their own version. So if you heard of Ice9 or Citadel, those are pretty much derivatives of Zeus. So they're still alive and they're out there. Now, when you have your devices connecting to Zeus, they're part of this botnet, and the person that runs the botnet is called a bot herder. A bot herder, though, is not a hacker, so I'd like to make that very, very clear. It doesn't take much skill more than some kind of operating system administration in order to install Zeus. And you're actually going to see it. We can get it to run and go live. You'll see it running on Kali, which would be really cool. So when I say you don't need to be a hacker, some people that were bot masters that got in the press were called things like the happy hacker. You guys heard of this person before? Yeah, famous bot master for Zeus. But his real name is Hamza Ben Dalaj, and I hope I said it correctly if you're watching Hamza. But again, he's not a hacker. What I'm trying to do today, and showing this to you, I'm hopefully inspiring you that if you want to install Zeus on your own, you do it in a controlled environment. You're not putting it out on the internet. You're not infecting machines that you don't control or not authorized to infect. And you can learn from this malware aquarium that you can have in your lab, so that if you see the traffic patterns in your network, instead of looking at it and go, that's an interesting traffic pattern, or we don't know what it is, maybe it'll go away. You can then say, wait, we've seen that in our malware aquarium, we know what that is, let's create a signature and stop it from any more traffic. Now, Hamza did get arrested. And if you could see the gentleman, they don't look too happy because he was in Thailand, and Thailand doesn't like it when foreigners come into their country and do these kinds of things. He's Armenian, so it was not a very good time for Hamza. So I don't know why he was smiling. Because they're watching. This is from September 6th. It's not that old. I got an updated screenshot. It's called zeustracker.abuse.ch. If you can't read the address up there, you might want to write it down. It's pretty cool. I like to go in there periodically. There's some files that are sometimes still online. If you could download the executable and reverse engineer them, you can see how it's working. You might even find a configuration bin file, which are encrypted. So if you got a nice big beefy machine with a bunch of GPUs, you can have fun trying to crack it. But it just shows you that this thing is active. There's probably about 863 somewhat sites that had something, whether it was Zeus running, a config file, or just the actual malware. And once again, they are watching. This is your final warning. Try this at home, but be smart about it. So what I like about Zeus is this scripting engine that it has. So you can do a lot, and you don't really need to be very well adept at Perl or Python or anything like that. They're actually, when you zoom in, you can see that they're pretty simple commands. They're pretty straightforward. No spaces, all underscores, and we're going to look at a couple of them. Actually, I don't think I can get my laser pointer there, so I'll just use the mouse. So one thing there, we like to use certificates nowadays, right? Because they're really secure. Well, if your certificates are stolen and somebody's able to get into the middle, so much for that. Also cookies. The last gentleman was talking, that was up here, was talking about a WAF. So if you do happen to have a web app in your environment and you don't have a WAF or something that's going to mask your cookies, then somebody can grab the cookie, tamper with it. Well, if they're not encrypted, then Zeus can also grab them, and then the criminals can also use them. User execute's pretty cool because you can use that to remotely deploy software to a machine. So you can then maybe push down a keystroke logger and do a nice silent install. And if it requires a log off so that you can collect their credentials, then log the user off. This bot BC add, BC stands for back connect. So you can set up a back connect server running on a Windows host. It could be really anything, XP, Windows 7. If you're using Windows 8, it should probably work. I haven't tested it, so if it doesn't, fine, do some comments in the video. But I would say it's pretty cool, and hopefully we can get that to work today, because that you can use for a SOC server, so you can have all their web traffic go back to you. You can set it up as a VNC server, we know what that does, or even RDP. So hopefully we can get it to work with RDP today. If it's time to remove your bot because you want to hightail it out of there because you think that the feds are onto you, uninstall your bot. You can also do some other things with the operating system, reboot. If the software you deployed remotely needs to be restarted, bless you. Or if you just want to shut the machine down. I like user destroy, not just because it's about destroying things. There's a little social engineering behind that. We'll talk about that. Hopefully we'll have some time and we can explore that a wee bit. And then the last one is the H2P inject. So I'm going to show you that. I have that set up. That was actually working in the hallway pretty good. And I'll show you that. That's a nice one for you right now. So let's just kind of jump in the demo. That takes a second. Now I got to warn you folks. I've made some sacrifices to the demo gods. Whoops, we're a little ahead of ourselves here. I made some sacrifices to the demo gods in the past. Sometimes they are nice to me, other times they couldn't give a rat's ass. So we'll see how it goes. If I can remember where I put my virtual machine. There it is. And it's good, it's good. Should make that full screen? Yeah, it's good. You guys can see that? Yeah, I think it's big enough, right, everyone? Okay. I just want to get my IP. So kind of the underlying technologies for Zeus, basically LAMP or XAMPP or XAMPP or whatever you want to call it, because now there's versions that will also run on Mac and Windows. You can just go to xampp.com and you can download it and use it yourself. What I have in my cache of tools is a little script I put together to install Zeus. And I'm going to run Z setup, but if we just cat that so you folks can see what it's doing. Maybe go full screen here. All right, it's actually a really simple script. It's going to set some values here. It's going to create the LAMP structure, and by doing that, it's just basically untarring a file. Here's the tarball, and it's putting it to opt. A little prompt here to remind me to make some setting changes. Where is it? There we go. Then it's going to move Zeus into a directory so we can access it through Apache. And I gotta tell you, if you go out there on the internet and you decide to hunt for Zeus on your own, you're probably gonna come across some older versions like 1.0, 8, or 1.2. And you might get someplace with 1.2. It doesn't work with Windows 7, it works with Windows XP. And it's kind of flaky. It is a little tough to use, but stick to it. That one has the PHP folder. It's named Zeus. Okay, cool. This one is called server hard brackets PHP. So if you come across that one, you know you have 2.0, and 2.0 is the one that we're using today. And it seems a bit better, and it definitely works with Windows 7. So then here we start with the services. Press enter, it's going to move a directory over so we can access the PHP by admin so we can create a database, and then we're done, we're going to hit the web interface. Anybody have any problems with that? They don't understand that? You guys are good? Nod your head? No? Because if you're lost, then you probably should just go now. So So the last time I did this earlier in the week, I don't know why, but it took almost 4 to 5 minutes to untar these files. It looks like we're doing pretty good here. Oh, good, because this morning it took 8 seconds, so it looks like we're going in the right direction. So now before I can start LAMP, I have to modify the HTTP conf and the HTTP XAMPP.conf file. So we do that by going to, actually I will place it as opt, LAMP, etc. There it is. Double click it, see if something opens. There we go. Now, we have to, as you can see here, these folks that put this together say that Apache likes to glom onto any of the, to bind an IP to any of the NICs. So you need to really specify your NIC that you want it to use. And I got this rainbow wheel of patience. There we go. Let's see, good. And then we dig into extra, and if we go down, there it is, http-xampp.conf. And then you go all the way to the bottom, and what I like to do, rainbow wheel. What I like to do is just rip out all the security crap. You have to probably wait for the rainbow wheel to stop. 2.5-year-old Mac, folks, sorry. I'm on a low budget here. I guess while we wait, I generally don't take questions till the end, but I'll take, well, never mind, retraction. All right, good. And that, and close that. So now we can go back to our script, and we press Enter, as we say back east, the Enter key. It's starting up the services. It's going to then start security. Well, we don't need to protect our XAMPP pages, so we're just going to say no. Do we want to set a password? Sure. What should the password be? Let's go with DerbyCon and DerbyCon. Yeah, we'll set the root password, press enter, and we'll just stick with DerbyCon because I'm getting too old for this crap and I can't remember these different passwords. And don't forget FTP, so just say no. Now it says hit enter when you're ready to adjust the PHP. I'm ready, and there it should be done. Let's go here, the IP. Let's go to Iceweasel, which is an interesting name for a browser. And XAMPP's running. Yes. So we're making progress, which is great. When we click on English, and I got to tell you, it's funny because sometimes when I do this, I still get German, Deutsch. But we got English, that's good. And the reason why we have to adjust PHP is there's some kind of access issue in one of those comp files, and I played with it a little bit, but I just frankly don't have time to figure it out. If you want to shoot me a tweet or something or give me a favor, that'd be nice. But as we do in the business, we find workarounds. And there mine. So there's PHP admin. You guys remember the username, right? Root. Password was DerbyCon. See if I get this right. Yes. Okay, so now we can create a database, and that's pretty simple. We're going to go here to databases, and I double click, but the database catalog name is going to be BSSNet, and then just hit create. It's done. There it is. Now that we have clicked it, we're going to do an import to create the database schema. File system, mount, hairy girlfriend file system. I forget how HP stands for. So I just make these things up. You guys do that too? I don't know if I'm going to make my own. So that's the hairy girlfriend file system. So we go to install and third party, and then there is the BSS. Say OK, open it, go all the way to the bottom, hit OK, and it looks like we're about ready to test to see if Zeus will respond. I still got that damn rainbow wheel. Anybody want to play some Jeopardy music? They did that to me at DerbyCon. Oh, that's great. Anyone see that video on YouTube? It's the highlight of my career. Love you, Nick, but you know, that was pretty tough for me. Let's see here. What do we want to do? We going to try XAMPP/Zeus/install. Oh, that was sweet. That felt good, because that doesn't always happen. So we're going to go with admin, DerbyCon, host, root, we know is DerbyCon. Sorry? Well, I couldn't. Why is it masked? Because it's malware. Let's put this in perspective. This was written by criminals with the intent to steal from you nice people. They don't put much QA into their code. That's why I usually shit a giant ostrich when I'm up on stage doing this, because I don't know if it's going to work. And it was really cool to see it work. So yeah, it's not going to mask it, and I know you can just put a little parameter in there that says text hidden, right? But they don't care. So onward. Encryption key, you can put whatever the heck you want in here. You can go with dead cafe. If you're really big on security, then you can create yourself some long-ass string. It really doesn't matter again, because it's people pay attention. So now here's another area where it sometimes breaks. Let's see if it works. I click the install button. We're waiting. Oh crap. What's that? I have a general rule when I present. You can shout out to me anything you want, but I can shout back. I like to be heckled, because I like to heckle back. So it's good, we have all green. I've seen different things happen in the past. So now that we know we got it installed, and you see this install directory here with the PHP stuff? If you do create one of these on your own, what you want to do is, after you have Zeus installed, take that install directory and move it something completely out of htdocs, because then someone in your environment might find it, and if they do, they're just going to have a really nice prank on you and change your settings, and you won't get back in. So, and if you have to put one of these on the internet, I advise that even more, but I don't advise you put it on the internet. Let's be clear. So now that you have your IP, and XAMPP is the directory, and Zeus, you type in CP for control panel, you press enter, and you get a login prompt. Sooner or later. I think we said the password, the account was going to be admin, and then the password was DerbyCon, and you press enter, and there is Zeus. Woo! So, thank you. So, show of hands, has anyone here ever in their life seen a command control installed before them live? We got a couple. Yeah, I was at ISC Squared earlier in the week, and of course that was 0. But it's cool that you folks have tried this and have done that. Hopefully it was for good reasons. But yeah, now you can put that on your resume. So now, my history with this has been usually pretty unsuccessful as far as getting the Windows client to connect. So I've learned to completely abandon this, because sometimes with the IPs binding and VMware, and it just gets out of control. So I decided to do something that is pretty fun. No, not by a camera. I put one live on the internet. Don't worry, it's got a better password than DerbyCon. And the pages are locked down with basic authentication in addition to logging into Zeus. So let's see if we, all right, well, now, okay, the bot is sleeping, so let's go wake that bot up. So there's our bot, and while that bot fires up, I'll show you a little bit about Zeus. So here we have a basic control panel. It tells you information, data, or reports in the database, the activity, and how many bots. I mean, obviously, one bot doesn't really make a net, but I'm not going for like a big ambitious botnet here. I just want to teach you guys something. Here's the version, and what's kind of cool is it says default, but when you create your config files, I'll show you that to you soon. when you create your config files, you can set up different regions, because as a bot master, you can say, I'm going to have a campaign where I'm going to infect machines that are in South America, APAC, EMA. So when they're calling in, you'll actually be able to have them in those different categories. So when you want to go rent out your bots for people to send spam or to steal money, if they want to have like South America as their target, no offense, South America, they just happen to be there. So you can then say, okay, you want to attack South America, then you can have all these 20,000 bots that are specific to this area. So it's really kind of a good system management tool. I think some of you use something like that. It's called System Center, SCCM. Sound familiar? Yeah. Not that I'm suggesting that this is better than that, but it's got some cool things. Like one of those things is the management, and then I can create someone like Chris over here, an account, and then he can have at it. It keeps track of all the operating systems. I only have Windows 7, but if it was XP or whatever service pack level, it'll let you know. You can even run a query for all of your bots in your environment. So we'll just stick with this. Let's see if the bot's online. Nope, it's not online yet. So we'll just do that. Hit accept. And a bot in my database. So here, think about it. You have all these people. Most of the people that get infected are really home users, or these people doing this thing called BYOD. They will have a device that's got a name very similar to all the other ones that they bought from whatever big box store. So they might be called Win7 Ultimate or Computer ABC or something dumb like that. But if they all have the same name, a lot of these other tools, it's going to collide, right? So as a bot master, how do I know this computer from that computer? Well, they add on some extra alphanumeric strings. So that's kind of a cool tool to have. So now you know each of your devices are going to have a unique name. And then you can click on it and get a lot more information. One of the things I like, and I know this is not going to work, is you can get a screenshot of what's happening. Fail. I expected that. There's something with the firewall ports. I'm still kind of figuring it out, because every time it does it, and I look at the access logs in my Apache box, it randomizes the port it's going back on. And it seems to be like a really long range, and yeah, I can open it up, but even when I opened it up to the range it was testing, it still didn't work, so I've got to analyze it a little bit better. But it's cool to get a screenshot of someone's machine before you attack them. I just said that, didn't I? Before that, if for example, maybe it's somebody that you know, or you're trying to help them, and you need to see what they're doing on there. Because they call you for tech support. My other talk is using Zeus for tech support. Let's see if the bot's online yet. You go to summer. Oh yeah, we got a bot online. Beautiful. So now you saw the stuff you can get from the bot. I mean, you know, it's kind of interesting. I don't personally think it's all that sexy compared to the other stuff that Zeus can do, but you saw the information, right? I mean, there's just a ton of stuff you can get. You can even say, oh, I used this bot before, put it in a category, I never want to come across it again, just, you know, later, let it go. Now let's look at these scripts. So we talked about before being able to have like a back connect server. So this is the command on the server. This is the full, all the parameters that would be passed. So it's bot underscore BC underscore add space 3389. We know what that is. And then zdemo.moo.com is the server that's I have on the web on port 4500. So I define 4500. It could be anything. And this is the part where I remind people that if you are concerned about having botnets and stuff in your corporate environment, or even in your home environment, if you have a home firewall, ephemeral port egress filtering, or just all non-standard port egress filtering, is a really good way to protect yourself. Because if you have something that's going to connect on 4500, and 4500 is not allowed to go out, more than likely the bot's not going to call home. So just something for you to think about. So what are we going to do with this? Well, let's open up RDP. Okay, cool. We go to zdemo.moo.com. And let's log in. No, I'm not saying this password out loud, because then anyone that watches the video is going to go and try and get my machines at home. And a lot of this stuff is going to change, so you people watching at home, no, none of it's going to work, have fun trying. So here, I'm actually remoted into my Windows management machine that you can see every time that the bot actually hits, it'll look like this. When it does a post, it's putting something up there like cookies or system information. When it calls to this config.bin, it's looking to see if there's a new config file waiting for it, because as a botnet master in the real world, if you notice that you showed up on the Zeus Tracker website, you would have another website or command and control ready. You drop your config to tell all your bots I need you now to point to the disaster recovery site, and then you abandon your production because the feds are going that way. Did I give anyone advice? I apologize. But that's kind of what they do, so that's why they have these other settings in there. Now here's this up a little bit. So what's going on here is there's an executable zsbcs.exe. So it's like Zeus backend server.exe. So I have to run it on Windows, or you can do it on Linux with Lime. It actually does work. I've done it. It works great. And you can see that it's accepting connection. So it's listening and it's waiting. I have it set here. This is the command I just showed you. Let's enable it. Yes. It'll take about a minute or so because the bot calls in every minute. I configured it to do that. And to show you the config for that. Go here. Okay. It's going slow. So this is the plain text config file. So we took a quick segue while I wait for the bot to connect. I'm going to open it up in Notepad. I'm not going to go through all the settings, but you can see some information here. We only really kind of care about this part. So we're telling the bot to test once every minute to check for config, send in logs, check, upload your stat information. Here's the URL for the config bin, so you saw that in my log. If you want it to remove the certificates, yep, you can do that. Disable the TCP server. Here's the encryption key. The install I did before, I used Dead Cafe. Here I just went with something a little bit more difficult, and yes, it will be changed. And then here, if you wanted to update your bot exe, then use a URL, so you can do updates. And then here is the gate where when it has information to send it back to the command and control, it's calling that PHP file. And then the web inject text file, which is pretty cool. So now that you have that done, this is the bot builder tool. So if you wanted to see if you had a bot, you put in the encryption code or key, excuse me. Let's see if that works. And then you hit refresh. Whoops. And good. And you put it here, and there you go, back. Now I can uninstall it and rip it out and then reinstall it, and it's pretty simple. The thing to point out here, what's going on? Okay. Try it. Nope. Is that you can point to that config file we edited. Something always goes wrong. I mean, it's invariable. Then you would have it compile it, compress it, encrypt it, and then it's available to put on your website and also used as a part of your bot.exe build, which is the other setting that would normally be there, but is not showing up. Let's try this. There we go. So you browse to your config file, which is that one. Build it, it runs through, it says where do you want to put it, you hit save, sure, go ahead and replace it, and then build the bot executable. You can really call it whatever you want, and then it's done. And the last thing I wanted to show you is the setting. So if English is your native language, great, but then you also have another choice. Now let's see if it actually connected. So it looks like it might have connected. Another way to check is when you go here, we have our script, as you know, and here's your status, enabled, disabled, and some other settings you have in here like reset or remove. But then you can see how many times you want to send that command, and then how many times the command was sended. Does that bother anyone else? If if it executed and if it had an error and it couldn't execute. So one of the things, I mean, it doesn't do auto refresh, which is fine, but if you just click that command again, you can see send it updated, take up 1, and executed is also 1. So it looks like it's connected. Here's the port. So what can we do with that? It's pretty cool. So who uses RDP now? Yeah, pretty much almost everybody. Yeah. You can still run it on Linux. How many of you run RDP natively over the internet? It's kind of foolish. You might connect to a VPN, some man's face curled up, another one's chuckling. It's like asinine nowadays. I just did it. It happens. So why didn't this launch? Run you. Maybe open a new connection. Tried that. So what I have is my Zeus backconnect server. That's the FQDN. And the port 1080. Why 1080? Because that was what we saw in the command, right? In that script. I don't know if that's up here. There we go. Whoa. So this is the command for, no, it's not. This is. A little more. Little more. Where are you? Oh, there it is. So we're running the CSPSC.exe. We're telling it to go into listen mode. We're using IPv4. The backconnect port is 4500, and the client port is 1080, which is why when I was over here, I put in 1080. Now let's look at this guy. Let's see how it's going to work. Hey, Chris. Can you give me a website to go to other than Goatsy? Because I know you would say that. Where?
It's a political website.
Come on. I don't know what that is, but I just know it's going to be bad. All right, go to Google. All right, let's see how that works. Yeah, sure. And there it is. Oh, it's their birthday. Happy birthday, Google! 15 years, no evil. Look at the shopping over there. I love my family. It's nice to see you guys. So, okay, we went to Google, and I'm just gonna do this and come over here, and then hit connect, and hope this works. Come on, back connect server. Try again. Thinking.
Did you connect to the bot?
So what we're going to try to do. Where is this guy? Keep an eye on this little thing bouncing up and down. It might go away. Ooh. This is not working. Let's try again. Not always sunbeams and rainbows. Unfortunately, that does not look like it's going to be in the cards. It is trying to accept the connection. It is trying. I was thinking of bouncing it, but then I got to resend that command to the bot, which is going to take another minute to pick it up. We got like 10 minutes left, and I want to really show you something pretty cool. So, unfortunately, folks, you're going to have to take my word for it on this one, but that is not going to be happening. I want to show you this. You got, let's create a paradigm. Pretend you are interested in physical security and you decide to go to this website to learn more and you want to register and sign up. So you say, I'm curious about residential security. Sir, what's your name? Oh, he woke up. Sir, what's your name? No, he doesn't lie. May I have a somewhat willing participant? Oh, I'm just going to pick on something. Okay, what's your name?
Edward Snowden.
All right, Eddie. I call you Eddie. I was wrong, sorry. Now. So, so a good password, we're just going to stick with, DerbyCon 2013. DerbyCon 2013. So you go to this website and keep your eye over here, and you say, let me register, what's the big deal? See if we get an update. Probably go, there it goes, it's into the gate. And you're like, cool, I'm now registered to get more information. And, let me go shopping, and now I'm ready to buy some residential security stuff. So I type in my credit card. I don't think anything begins with a 9, goes to a 5. Let's see, what is the month now? We're in September. We'll set it to 2014. And you see this code right here? You guys see that a lot on websites, right? But I gotta show you something. In reality, it's not there. There is no spoon. There's only an error. Okay. So let's do it this way. zdemo.blue.com/online quotes and register.html. So it's the same exact page. But you notice there's no CDD because Zeus inserted that on the Windows machine. Mac, Linux, they don't get infected with Zeus. It's only Windows. So it won't come up. I know the domain's different, but I just can't resolve it here on this machine. And the other one, it's in the local host file. We fill in the blanks. I don't know, we'll just put a couple numbers in there. 21, Jefferson Road. Where are we? And Eddie, what state are we in other than Kentucky? Pick something so we know. Do we know each other?
No.
Have we met before?
No.
Okay. Give me a state.
No.
Is that where you live?
No.
Okay. Most people tend to live in the state. 5 digits.
21046.
Beautiful. You're good at this. So then you hit buy, and when you're done, you make your purchase online. Eventually it gets there, and you're like, cool, I'm really happy, I just bought some security equipment. But then, as a cyber criminal, I can go into my database, and I can do a quick search. So you've got like some picks here for the different dates, and you say, oh, I'm going to search, and here's all the activity on this one particular bot for today. I was testing it out in the hallway. So the ones that we actually just did were here, so we click this, and here's all of Edward Snowden's information. Here's his password. Gets better. Sorry, Eddie. Here's your credit card information. Here's the expiry. Here's that CVV number we asked for that we did the HTTP inject with. Here's where you live and your zip code. Digest that for a moment.
So was the CVV the only thing that it inserted in there, but it still passed everything else onto the site?
Correct, because I told it to put the CVV in there. It could be anything in any web form. I target the domain. I put it in that HTTP web injects, that text file that was referenced in the config. So it could be anything, but it's commonly banking. That was pretty cool. So screw the RDP stuff, but now the other thing I wanted to show you is, oh, okay, yeah, there's just this guy complaining. I mean, that was my fake website where I can do something, but let's really go to something that's real. Let's go to these guys, and I'm not picking on them. Please don't have your attorneys call on me. I just happen to do this. God, when this stuff's filmed, you gotta put the disclaimer in there. So my underage child has an account on Facebook. You need to be 13 years old to have an account on Facebook. He is underage. He does not know he has an account on Facebook, but I use it for demos. He's gonna wake up one day and he's like, Dad, what is all this junk in my inbox? You're an a-hole, man. That's how 13-year-olds speak. They make that face. So I'm going to put in his password, which is a really pretty secure password because it's better than what most of your users are using. And we're going to log in. And here we are. You know, he looks like an that's Screw my family photos. All right, great. So now he's there. Let me go back to Zeus. And let's say, Zeus, we want to go here to the database. And we're going to do another search. And we scroll down, and holy crap, there's Facebook. And we look at, oh my God, there's his password. That is what Zeus is doing. Why are these guys still building it and putting it out there when you can stop it? They're collecting real data. That was real, not some bullshit website I created. So enough of that, let's do something that's fun. What I have here is my other bag of tricks, if we can get this sucker to work. It's really dark in here. This is the weirdest podium. Everything is like under here. I can't really put it up here. Maybe I can. Does anyone care if I go over? Thanks. That's cool. Yeah, they have one guy. We could take him. Or her. Especially with her. All right. Let's see if we can get this working here. This, if your mind has not been blown yet, and this doesn't do it, I will give you a more awkward hug than Jason Street ever has. All right, there they are. A little bit of a reflection, but I'll take it. You guys can see that, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Sometimes that helps it. All right, good. I need a volunteer for this one. Dave Kennedy, are you here? Yeah, anyone else? I swear. I am a CISSP. I subscribe to certain level of ethics. I will not do anything to your data or your phone. I'm very serious about that. And I don't care if you see this code, it's going to change. And there it is. So, I've done this demo a few times. It's pretty good. It's pretty stable. I've only seen it crash once. So, I still need a volunteer. Or seriously. Thank you. Oh, this guy, Mr. Ad Hoc. Come on up, Mr. Ad Hoc. Thank you. Appreciate it. You have a cell phone, right? Because that is a requirement. Good. And you know how to use it? I know you're a smart man. Yes. The answer is yes. So have your phone ready. I need you to face the audience. In fact, if you can stand here, also so the camera can see you. Stand here. That's perfect. You have to swear you will never look at that screen, and you will read everything that shows up on your phone. You swear. You have to, like in the airplanes? Yes, I understand, I swear.
I swear.
Thank you. Good. So now, hang on, not yet. We'll just keep looking that way away from that. Okay, now what we launched was this Android security suite, which is really Zitmo. Zitmo stands for Zeus in the Mobile. Okay, it is out there, it is pervasive. What I did is I found a copy, I modified it, I just pretty much reverse engineered it, saw that it was going to some Polish website, I changed it to go to one of my websites, and I set myself up as the controller, so hopefully there's nothing in there that I missed, but I'm the controller. Now what you're looking at is, when you see this activation code, one of the things they do to try to trick you is they put a 1 in front of your device ID and a 3. And sorry, I didn't do the user execute because I wanted to get to this. In fact, you know what? Why don't we just let it kill the Windows machine in the background? It's just fun to watch Windows machines die. Script. When all else fails, enable. Sure. We'll minimize this. And while we're watching that happen, we will do this. So when you see the windows here start to close down, we know we killed the machine. So this activation code is to trick you to make you think that it's good, and there it goes, it died. And if your friend downloads it, then downloads Android Security Suite, ASS for short, criminals have a sense of humor too, they will think, oh yeah, it's legit because it's a different activation code. But what's going to happen here is we're going to take this minion guy, and this is that guy, he's the bad guy. And then we have this infected guy. So this is Mr. Malware infected phone. Now I'm the bad guy, this minion. And Mr. Ad Hoc, what's your phone number? Okay. Too old. 350. 50. That's too short. What 35035? What phone number is that? Oh God! You just made this really hard, dude. What's your area code? Okay, so 812350. That's too many digits. Okay. So you're gonna need a new phone number after this. So hit send. Now this guy here should get a little text message. See, I thought it maybe popped up for a second. And then you, my friend, yeah, there it is. Did you get a text message? See, now this right here, this text message, most people will be like, I don't know what the heck is that? I got slashed some phone number. Somebody must have tried to pocket dial somebody else, and it's garbage. Now you got a message, right? In a loud voice. Don't read all of it, but just read the juicy stuff. Model Samsung.
Yep, model Samsung. AC 18.5, version 2 Samsung.
The device ID is there. And then there's a thing in there that says ALTC for alternate controller, and it's set to 1, which now means he's the new controller.
V1.2.
Yeah, it's a version number. So now good. Now, this one's gonna get fun. Don't laugh. I'm going to send a text message to this Android phone that's infected, right? The purple minion. I'm typing. You're not supposed to turn around. You have to read this in a loud voice. Really loud. So now I send a text message to the infected phone right here. Come on.
I like to rock out with my cock out.
And that is SMS interception and redirection, which is, again, Zippo's out there. Really what the bad guys are doing is they're going to get something like this password, and because maybe somebody is setting up like a bank account, they're logging in, and their bank says, hey, here's a password to log in or reset your account or whatever it might be. And when you hit send, now Mr. Ad Hoc is going to have that password and he can do something. Now granted, in this type of very small context, it's pretty insignificant. But think about what if this is a government official and now their text messages are being snooped on by an enemy, or like the President of the United States, or maybe Kim Kardashian, or somebody like that, and their secrets are now going to be available for people to publish when they shouldn't be. Question? I haven't tested with encrypted. I mean, it's just going to be something that the malware is going to get as it comes in and sends it off. So when it's received, the transmission, if it's encrypted, it's received in plain. People are leaving because it's time to go. I want to say thank you. This was awesome.